I am a dog lover. I experience serious emotional pain when I witness any animal suffering. Experiencing the love of an animal gives is palpable, and a unique side benefit is lowering of your blood pressure. Loving animals can be overwhelmingly rewarding. On today's program, I have a dog adopter who has several stories in her head that she would like to tell us about. In a moment, you're going to see a 5-minute clip on one of these stories. This clip melted my heart and reminded me of the full impact of a mother's love of her children. And I have with me to discuss this Mary Calamia, who's a social worker and a dog adopter. Did I say that right?
Adopter.
Adopter? Not an adopter?
Adopter.
Okay, sorry about that.
A dog mom.
Let me cross out the ER
mom.
at the end of that. Okay, we're good.
It's okay.
Let's tell us a little bit about how you got into this real quick.
Sure. I, in December, lost the greatest dog in the whole world to cancer at the age of 14. And I really just don't like living without a dog in the house.
Yeah.
It didn't take very long for me to say, I need to fill that void. And a friend of mine contacted me and she said, I know you lost your lab, and I found this lab that they're looking to adopt out of a rescue. And I met her, and it wasn't love at first sight, but we gave it a shot. And I just, in working with adopting this dog, I had never adopted a dog out of a rescue before, and working with the rescue and adopting, the process of adopting a dog.
We should tell the audience that this is the one you're going to see in a couple of minutes on the clip.
You're going to see
in
her
just a
story.
minute. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, you're going to see her story. And just in working with the rescue and going through the adoption process and bonding with a rescue dog, I just really got very interested in the whole idea of dog rescue and what goes on behind the scenes to bring a dog from a kill shelter or in the woods or wherever into the home of a loving family.
Yeah.
And just to see what goes on.
I had an opportunity to see this clip, and I want everybody else to see it, so I brought it into this program. So Andy, could you run that clip for us now? It's 5.5 minutes, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's let it go.
It's been tough to make it here where I am, but I have no doubt what it's all about. It's my dream and I believe I really can. I can shine, rise above the past, leave it behind. It's coming at me fast, I feel it's time to put me to the test. 'Cause of you, I'm on the path, so I can shine. Some stories have been told as each page of life unfolds. It's been fun, but just the same I paid my dues. It's been an uphill climb, and it's taking time. Having you here by my side, how can I lose? I can shine, rise above the past, leave it behind. It's coming at me fast, I feel it's time to put me to the test. Because of you, I'm on the path, so I can shine. Because of you, I finally have, with all your help, tomorrow's quite clear that I can shine, rise above the past, leave it behind. It's coming at me fast, I feel it's time to put me to the test. Because of you, I'm on the path, so I can shine. Yeah, yeah, I can shine. I can. Because of you, I'm on the path, I can shine.
Okay, I'll tell you, it's an amazing story, and what was really interesting to me about it is towards the end when the reuniting came on. You can actually see, and this is, of course, how do you stage something like this? You can't do it.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going to happen when we put the puppies together, and
that's what really got me.
The first one came in, this was in my backyard, and the first one came in, and Zoe was kind of like, oh, I don't know, something's going on
yeah,
here.
The mother was Zoe, the black lab.
Yeah, Zoe's my dog,
Yeah.
right. And then the second one came in, and that's when she dropped and went to nurse them.
Right.
And then when the third one came in, she just went crazy. I mean, she was just beside herself. You could tell she knew they were her puppies.
Yeah, that's something you can see on the video.
Yeah.
And I can't really even describe that to somebody too easily anyway.
Yeah, it was
about
crazy.
The recognition. How do you describe the recognition between two animals, you know?
A friend of mine was over, she's the one who shot all the pictures, and she said, oh my God, she's trying to nurse them.
Yeah.
And we recognized it. And one of the things that you don't really see in the video is her ears went all the way back. They were like completely, when a dog is happy, their ears go back. I've never seen her ears bend back like that. She knew they were her pups. It was great.
That was truly amazing, and they were different colors, of course, but they was.
Yes.
And one or two were a little bit larger than the others.
Yeah, well, Max, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
She actually had given birth when they found her. They found her in the woods in Oklahoma, as you see in the video. It was November 20th. It was 17 degrees that night, and she had given birth to 10 puppies. And she got on top of her puppies to keep them warm, and unfortunately smothered 5 of them to death.
Yikes.
So we don't even know what the other 5 would have looked like.
Oh, wow.
And then they had, it took them a whole night and a day to trap her. I learned this from the people in Oklahoma, to trap her because she wouldn't come to people.
Sure.
But they got her, and they got the puppies, and they the 5 puppies were healthy, and they got them all to New York.
Why not an adoptive family in Oklahoma?
Well, it's much the reason why there's so many dogs up for adoption in Oklahoma, South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi. All in the South is poverty. Texas, poverty. These animals live.
I thought maybe the wildness of the nature, you know, the
no,
wild
they come
animals.
from areas where people are just very, very poor. They're not able to care for animals in the way we like to care for animals in this country. They're not able to provide for them, and they generally just leave them outside, use them for hunting, and if they're not good hunting dogs, they just ditch them in the woods, which is what we think happened to Zoe.
Wow. I've heard that expression, that dog don't hunt.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're
Yeah.
fearful of the noise of the shotguns,
Oh.
and they can't use them for hunting. So they.
I'm fearful of the noise of shotguns too.
Well, I think, yeah, they're not wearing ear protectors, but there's just no market for it. They have a very, very high kill rate. A dog like Zoe, if she had ended up in a shelter instead of in the hands of a rescue, would have been dead in 3 days. It's usually about 3 days, and that's it. Some places 5 days. They just have no room for them, so they have to kill them.
Where were the other dogs from? The babies, you know, her babies. Where were they all from?
They were They were. What do you mean?
I mean,
oh,
in this
they were all
area?
on Long Island.
Oh,
They're all on
That's
Long
what I wanted to
Island.
know,
Yeah.
So they didn't have to travel very far to get the
No,
reunion
we're hoping
going.
actually this weekend she's going to be reunited with the other
The
two.
last, there were 2. I thought there was just 1 in the video.
2, yeah.
Yeah?
Casey and Olive. They just
yeah.
couldn't make it that day. The rescue's been fabulous. The rescue keeps meticulous records of where each dog goes.
Wow.
And she keeps close contact with a lot of the adoptive parents. So when I asked her if we could reunite the dogs, she said no problem, and she put out an email right away and was able to get responses from all of them.
There's like a magistrate. There's a magistrate over this.
Yes,
is it?
absolutely. They
Wow.
pride themselves on good follow-up and making sure
That
they
is
know
fabulous. I
where each
didn't
and
know
every
that.
animal
See,
goes.
live and learn. That's why we're doing this program, to educate. You know, this is one of
You
the
can't
things we
believe.
do.
Let me tell you how these dogs come up here. The rescue in Oklahoma will ship about 30 or 40 puppies in a van to Tennessee, and the rescue up here will coordinate the same trip down to Tennessee, and they'll meet at 6 o'clock in the morning and transfer the puppies from the one van to the other, and everybody goes back. It's like 16 hours each.
There's that many? Mm-hmm. Whoa.
And then they come up here, and they all go into the rescue, and they spend maybe a week or so. She quarantines them so that if they're sick, if any veterinary issues come up.
Oh, one at a one.
Well, she keeps them separated from dogs that she still has, that healthy.
So the new batch stays batched together.
Correct.
Okay.
And then once they're cleared for health, then she brings them to. They have events. They have adopt-a-thons, or this particular rescue will bring them on Saturdays and Sundays to different pet stores on Long Island, where people come in. They know the puppies are. Oh, the puppies here. They come in. Are the puppies here? And they always look to see the new puppies, and then they adopt them out.
How is the time differential between the transport from Tennessee, for instance, to wherever they're going, to the time they get adopted? What's that interval like?
Well, she'll keep them, depending, as long as they're healthy, it'd probably be about a week to 10 days before she'll even show them to anybody, because when you want to make sure they have no upper respiratory problems, no infections, no ear infections.
So she's got to do a heck of a lot of work.
She's got to take care of
Is
all
she
these
getting
puppies.
paid for this?
No.
Jeez, I had a feeling you were
No.
going to say that.
These people do this out of the goodness of their hearts. I mean, they get donations, obviously, and they when you pay an adoption fee, and the fee goes towards vetting and transportation and
Still, they're not
food.
making a bundle out of this,
No,
I'm
they're
sure.
not making. There's nobody gets rich off of adopting pets out. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. They do cats also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a cat fan, but good.
Cats, kittens,
I'm an
dogs,
animal fan.
puppies.
I like all animals.
It's
I've had
crazy.
4 dogs in my life, and they encompassed. Each one of them lived. The numbers here: 11, 20. One of my dogs lived to 20 years.
Wow, that's great.
11 and 18 years. I had.
That's great.
And most of them were small dogs. The one that was 11 was a little larger.
Oh,
and I think the
fantastic,
larger dogs
yeah.
tend not to live
Yes, that's
as
correct.
long.
My Jack, the one that I lost in December, was 14 and was on his 3rd form of cancer.
What kind of dog?
He was a yellow lab.
Oh, big
100
dog.
pounds. He was a big boy, but he made it
Yeah.
to 14 with 3 forms of cancer, so it was amazing.
Yeah,
You know,
that's crazy.
Good nutrition does wonders.
And a lot of love, that's for sure.
Yes.
It takes a lot of dedication for this woman and for any other woman that's in this area to love animals so much that you have your heart in it before you have your dollars in it, right?
Absolutely.
And what's the motivating factor beyond that?
It's just the
just the love, right?
The love, absolutely. And they give it back. Even my dog Zoe, I bring her back to go. She likes to go see the puppies, and I take her to the pet store on the weekend. And she runs. That Val is the lady who runs the rescue. She runs to her. She loves her so much.
Your dog you're talking about?
Yeah, because she remembers this was the first person who was really good to her. This is the first person who treated her well.
Well, aren't some of those dogs not necessarily mistreated? I mean, aren't some of them just...
Some of them aren't. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are though. When
I keep hearing about animals being skittish and shy and stuff that's like that.
they have dogs, they call them shoe dogs, that the people where they were would keep shooing them away. Don't touch me, don't come near me. So they're not socialized with people. They've been shooed away. My Zoe, when I first got her, it was during the blizzard we had, the one blizzard we had in the winter. She was terrified. My neighbor came out with a hat on, and I realized she was afraid of men with hats. Anywhere we went, if there's a man with a hat, we have to take it a little slowly.
There's a song called, or a group called Men Without
Men with hats. Yeah, well, she's
Or was it
afraid
Without
of them.
Hats?
So something must have happened to her with somebody with a hat. Man with a hat on must have done her dirty.
A question I have about animals that are rescued, and I'm coming from that place where some of them are mistreated, that if you want to have an animal, you also want to control them to a degree, discipline them to a degree, and make sure they're not afraid of people or would
Right.
bite somebody else or
Right.
bite you, and you have
Yeah.
those kinds of discipline and control issues. Do they pose more or less of a problem, or it's not significant? Or?
It depends on the animal. I mean, I had a friend who adopted a dog who never once let anybody touch her.
Yeah, that's
In
that kind
all
of
the
thing.
years they had her, they could never touch this dog.
Would she bite otherwise?
She would cower.
Back out.
Yeah, they had to get her a dog. The only way they could keep her comfortable was if she had another dog, so they adopted another dog to keep her company.
I know I'm going to probably ask you a bunch of crazy questions, but
No crazy
one of them, one of them is the way that they handle animals now is they have these invisible fences, and they also have collars that jolt them and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
They have all these things going on. Would an animal such as one that's rescued encounter more difficulty blending than otherwise? Is that?
That's possible. That might be something. It depends on what the animal went through, and you don't know because the dog doesn't tell you until
They don't tell you anything?
they don't tell you until you do something. Like I didn't know about the hats until we encountered a man with a hat. You don't really know. Everyone is different. I believe in positive reinforcement. I don't believe in disciplining the animal. I don't believe in
that kind of
jerking. I believe
What
instead
if they
in
go to the
rewarding.
bathroom in the house or something like that? How do you discipline them?
Take them outside.
What if they discontinue that process and the thing that you've done doesn't work?
I've never had that problem.
Oh.
Once you take them outside and you stand out there, and if it takes 10 hours before they go to the bathroom, it takes 10 hours, and as soon as they go to the bathroom, good boy, good girl.
Phew.
I know. At that point, I mean, if you had that problem, the dog is soiling in the house, you have to get a trainer in. You've got to get an animal behaviorist in to
Is
help you
there
with that.
more? I'm going to ask you the same type of question again. Is there more of that kind of problem with a rescue animal than there would be with others?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you could have an ornery puppy.
Lucky of the dog.
Yeah,
It's just the chance of the dog.
Exactly. Again, you don't know what they've experienced. I met a lady who said she adopted a dog from the rescue that she had to literally pull out of the crate and take her out to do her business, and then she'd go right back in the crate. She would not come out of that crate for anything. But they were working with her very slowly.
Well, they have the psychological issues that these dogs can have. and
Yeah.
They're just as affected as...
But this lady was great, and she was not going to give up anything. But I mean, I'm very lucky. Zoe moved in with me, and within a few days, I started bringing her to work with me. She works with children. She works with teenagers, adults. She gets in an elevator every day and goes up to the office. she's fabulous, and you
there are
can
dogs-
adopt a dog with zero issues whatsoever, other than men with hats. It's the only problem we've had.
Can you, men without hats, can you take a dog like that to the hospital?
Sure.
As a, what do they call them?
Therapy dog.
Therapy dogs, yeah.
Absolutely. Train them. Absolutely.
No particular difference between somebody who's a known breeder or a known
Yeah.
connection between the animal and then somebody
No, not at all. Zoe is training to be a therapy dog. She's passed a couple of levels of obedience.
What's the training like?
Yeah, it's basic obedience.
It's more than what you would do, right?
Yes, it's more than the average person would do, but most of it, the difference is you can't reward them with any treats. When they take the test to become a therapy dog, they have to do sit, down, stay, come, heel, all of the
By
basic
verbal
things.
commands, right?
Verbal commands. No, you can't use treats to reward them. So that's the most difficult
That's the
part.
biggest, yeah, that's got to be the biggest hump to
So right now she can do all of that
overcome.
with treats, and she can do all of it in the house. I'm trying to get her to do it out on the lawn, out on the driveway, out in the park, in the parking lot at work, in different places, because you also want the dog to be able to repeat the behavior in any setting. So that's what we're working on. But she came to me fully housebroken, fully. I mean, she's wonderful. She's wonderful. So you can adopt a dog and not have.
I would have thought that
deal with
most animals
potty
wouldn't
training.
want to go to the bathroom in the house.
They don't. Yeah,
But some do.
some
I
do.
just find some do.
I fostered a couple of dogs before Zoe, and I had one that just really liked to pee in the house.
Yeah.
He just
Was a
he
male,
just
of
did.
course.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just finding his territory,
Absolutely.
which
But he
is-
learned quickly. He learned quickly that
I had
where
one.
to go.
One who lived to 11 years old. He died eventually, but he just lifted his leg so many times. It was so difficult to stop him. At the last.
And he wasn't a rescue, right? He
No.
was, yeah.
The last 4 or 5 years of his life, he didn't do it again. But I really had to pay attention to that. Oh
They
my
can
God,
be funny.
it was difficult.
My neighbors had a dog. They had a little dachshund who used to come to my house. Anytime she walked into my house, the first thing she did was pee on the carpet.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
It's
Is
just the
there a
job.
reason for this?
In the last couple of minutes we have, is there any other stories that you want to share with me?
The rescue, we're working on some other videos for the rescue. We're doing this YouTube channel, My Pet World TV, and we want to promote rescue. They have so many wonderful stories. They have stories of dogs that were found in Oklahoma, where one sibling got caught in a trap and the other sibling wouldn't leave their side.
yes, I see.
They had two siblings that were separated.
It's amazing when they see
Two
that
siblings
happen.
that were
Amazing.
separated because one was injured, had been shot.
Ooh.
And when they reunited, the siblings literally crawled on the floor to each other, crying because they remembered each other. These dogs demonstrate that they know each other. They form a bond, that the parent and child, the siblings. I don't know where Zoe,
That's what got me about
baby
your,
daddy is, but
your film got me in that regard too, because I thought that that's not something you see all the time. You know
No.
that animals have love. They give you love. You love them back. They do lots of good things, and they associate with other animals in very odd
Yeah.
ways sometimes because they don't know they're not siblings, like you say. But when they got together with the mother and the mother peeled back, there was just
yeah.
that was a
Everybody
heart
had
melter.
such a great time. They had so much fun. We all had so much fun watching them, and the families, the kids, all the children were there from the families. Which is so. It was a science lesson for them to see how the animals bonded. It was just such a fabulous experience to bring them together.
Why don't you, in the last minute or two we have, tell us about either an extraordinary story, and also you can give the advertisement to the group if you could, the adopter.
Sure.
Oh, I did it again.
The
adopter.
The rescue is called the Adoption Center. They're in Medford, and they bring their dogs to. There's a store called Pet Value in South Setauket. They're there on Saturdays and Sundays, and they're at Petco in Massapequa on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, so they do. Yeah.
They have them in Nassau and Suffolk
And
County.
do they have to advertise that they're rescue dogs, or they not?
Oh
have
no,
to do
you
that?
just know. You go in there and they're there. They've got their T-shirts on that say the Adoption Center, and the dogs are all in
The dogs have their T-shirts on?
No, the dogs don't have the T-shirts on.
Why not? It's a good idea.
The dogs are in their crates, chewing on their whatever and
Mm-hmm.
having fun. And one fabulous story they had out of Oklahoma, they had some briar patch, old thorny briar patch, and there was a photographer who got out of his car to shoot landscape and found these puppies around the briar patch. They were all just these loose puppies, and they kept trying to trap these puppies. Rescue was on their way to help bring crates and everything else. These puppies would not leave this briar patch. They were adamant that they were not going to go with this photographer or the rescue. It turned out there was another puppy hidden in the briar.
Oh, geez.
And he had buckshot. He had been shot.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was birdshot, but buckshot, but he had been shot. And it was their brother. They would not leave that briar patch until the last puppy was found. And once he was found, they went willingly. They were like, okay, it's all good now.
It's amazing.
And yeah, so it was fabulous. We want to do some video about that because it was a great story.
How are you going to video that when?
We have pictures. We have the pictures,
so you can
I'll
make a video
I'll make
out
a
of it,
video
yeah.
out of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and just to promote the whole idea. Everybody should rescue. Those dogs are so grateful. They're just so wonderful. They've had a tough life, but once you give them the soft life.
Yeah.
Zoe, I can't get her out of my bed now.
I'm alone in the
she's,
house
you know,
now. I can't take a dog, but I tell you, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I would otherwise, because I've had them my whole life. I missed that opportunity.
This
to
little
have a
girl
dog. It's
came
great.
from living in the woods where she had to hide from coyotes. She still eats her food. She lays on the floor really low so that she's not at risk of being caught by coyotes. And
Coyotes will kill dogs too, huh?
absolutely. So, they come from this, and now she's got the soft life. She's probably on my couch right now. So, yeah.
Mary, thank you very much. Mary Calamy, a
Thank
dog
you.
adopter and social worker. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
I hope everybody enjoyed that video.
Yes.
You've been
Thank
watching FIT TV, the program that brings you behind the scenes of our divorce culture at FIT. You know you cannot get this information on your own, so we'll bring it to your TV every single week. My name is Mr. Maggio, and we'll see you again next weekend.